Well, what do we have here? Looks like we have the confirmation from the official Twitter account here. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Piccolo Power Awakening are getting their unique equipments. Huh. It would be kind of crazy if somebody, kind of guessed this was going to happen yesterday. Again, if you guys haven't seen my video yesterday, I did say that I think these are the most likely characters to get the equipment. And the reason how I made that deduction was they skipped these characters in terms of the order of them bringing characters back, because they brought the Gammas back, who came out at the same time as Orange Piccolo, and obviously who came out after Goku and Vegeta here. They brought the Gammas back on a reprinted banner that was the exact same banner that they came out on originally. Essentially the same banner. And so it makes sense to me. We have 2 weeks just about until Legends Festival starts. It makes sense to me that this would be a week to drop a bait filler banner to get people to summon on before Legends Festival starts. So what I think is probably going to happen is they're probably, this coming week, aka tomorrow, going to release a banner featuring Orange Piccolo, featuring Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, because they've never returned. And then I think they'll also include LF Full Power JIREN, because LF Full Power JIREN's Zenkai Awakening was confirmed. They actually don't have a post about it. All they have is this. The post of the Zenkai Awakening LL JIREN Full Power included erroneous information and it has now been deleted. We will repost with the corrected information, and they haven't done it and it's been 4 hours. So there's no actual post for this, but I mean, this is confirmation right here that it's coming. So tomorrow's actually going to be pretty crazy. We have JIREN's Awakening, Legends Limited JIREN Zenkai Awakening, and then we have unique equipment for Piccolo and the Goku and Vegeta here. So this this Legends Fest countdown is already pretty exciting here. I actually am kind of like, are they gonna sort of like burn us out on the countdown here? Because this, like, the actual Legends Fest is gonna have to hold up to the countdown. I don't want them to do this thing which Dokkan has done before, where it's like the countdown to the celebration in a lot of ways is more exciting than the actual celebration. So hopefully Legends Festival is pretty good. Now, Legends Festival ends up being even remotely close as good as Anniversary. It is a massive W. That's honestly all I can hope for. I'm going to hold them to the same standard that that we saw for Anniversary, and if they're able to keep up with that level of release, or those levels of releases and excitement that we had for Anniversary, that is enough, in my opinion, to make it a major success. So anyway, the big things to talk about here. Again, I think tomorrow we'll probably get a filler banner with Orange Piccolo, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, and Zenkai LF Full Power JIREN. So that's number 1. And then, of course, the way that they're going to get you to be enticed to summon on that banner is by having 2 of those characters get equipments, and then JIREN will be getting his Zenkai Awakening. Now, in terms of what I would want to see, let's, I guess, just start with JIREN here. So this is a character that actually already has his unique equipment, and so I think this character has the potential to be extremely powerful with his Zenkai Awakening. And I've seen a lot of people already pretty dismissive about this. Goku and Frieza getting another buff. We've gotten so many Universe Rep buffs this whole year. Like, why are they continuing to give us Universe Rep stuff? And I can definitely agree with that second point. I think, pretty much since January of this year, they've just been packing it in with Universe Rep buffs just continuously. It's honestly, it's been relentless Universe Rep buffs the entire year almost. So I can definitely understand people, not sort of wanting to see more Universe Rep stuff so soon here. And I'm, completely understanding of that. When it comes to the Goku and Frieza thing, I actually think this can be a good opportunity for them to introduce a counter finally to Goku and Frieza. Now, ideally, would you want the counter to be another purple unit that's probably going to end up working well with Goku and Frieza? No, ideally that would not be the case. I already hate the fact that Frieza gets uncancelable cover nullification, which means that one of the ways that Goku and Frieza can Rising Rush and Enemy Goku and Frieza is because of their own mechanic, and they're one of the only characters in the game that can do that. I hate when that happens. I hate when one of the only counters to a character is themselves, because it creates very narrow scenarios where you can sort of play against that character. So I'm not the biggest fan of that, but obviously canonically speaking, I think Jiren would be a perfect option for a counter to Goku and Frieza. And I've actually seen a surprising amount of people that are like, how do you counter Goku and Frieza? It's not that hard to do. I mean, you just look at what they're doing and you create unfavorable positions to where you would entice the opponent not to do certain things. So for example, what if they gave Jiren a mechanic where he destroys the entire enemy's hand when a universe rep, when a universe rep character tags, he uses the tag switch mechanic. He destroys their entire hand and reduces their ki by 100. What if that was a mechanic that he had, right? It's very easy to specifically counter Goku and Frieza. And if that's too broad, all they have to do is say, when an enemy who belongs to the lineage of evil tag and Saiyan tag performs a tag switch, they lose all their cards. Right? They lose all their Dragon Balls or something, like, I don't know, something absurd like that, right? And so that's a way that they can really easily counter this unit. Again, it doesn't have to be as polarizing as what I just mentioned, but there are very simple ways that they can have a character like Jiren counter Goku and Frieza specifically. It's not hard to do. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to see out of this character. I don't really think Goku and Frieza is as big of a problem as they were just a few weeks ago, just because of power creep recently, but I would still like to see some kind of targeted counter to them because they've been relevant for too long. All right, so now we're getting to the unique equipment here. So what I've actually done for this, I don't think I've ever done this before for any other character, but because we are getting 2 of these equipments and because this is a unique situation, I actually have come up with 2 concepts for equipment for both of these characters. So we're gonna quickly swap over to Word here. All right, here we go. So we have full concepts for unique equipment for Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, and Orange Piccolo. So we'll start with the Goku and Vegeta, and then we'll move on to Piccolo second. So in terms of slot 1 and slot 2, honestly, for both characters, it's not going to be too different than what we're accustomed to seeing for these characters. I tried my best to make these as realistic as possible. If it were up to me, I would probably not design them so generically like this, but this is most likely what we're going to be seeing because this is a pretty established formula for unique equipment for LF units. Slot 1 is literally the same slot 1 as Dragon Fist. I don't really think there's a need to adjust the base stat spread too much here. Just 35% everything across the board, blanket. It is what it is. I think it's good enough. 35% across the board. I'm fine with that. Slot 2, we have 15% base HP, we have 20% damage inflicted, and then we have 20% to health restoration. Now, here's the thing with this character. So we're going to quickly just, what is the problem with this character? And where are the areas where they can receive the most improvements for? I actually don't think damage is that bad for this character. I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't know if that's controversial, but the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, I would argue, doesn't have the worst damage of all time. I don't think their damage is that bad. The part of this character that is severely lacking, and honestly is probably the main reason as to why they're not even used ever. Like, when was the last time you saw this character used? Like, never. Is the fact that the Vegeta side of this character actually feels like a 2020 unit. He is so vastly undertuned that I'm not even sure how it's possible that they tuned him that badly. Which obviously then equates to the character being very squishy, not tanky whatsoever, which is supposed to be what the Vegeta side of the character is bringing to the table, because the way this character is supposed to work, they're essentially a dual role character. Goku is supposed to be the damage dealing, side of the character, which I would argue he doesn't do a bad job of being. And then Vegeta is supposed to be the character that takes hits and is able to tank and is able to, withstand the enemy's onslaught and then buy time for Goku to come back in, and then you sort of, you know, transition into the Transcendent Kamehameha preparation mode. So I'm not going to go crazy in terms of giving this character like 1,000,000,000% damage, because that's honestly not what I feel that they need right now. So that's why I didn't make slot 2's damage like 50% or something crazy like that. It's because I don't think that's where they're lacking. But if we scroll down here, I can show you, yeah, this is a big slot 3, by the way. And I mean, this is honestly what I think they need to do for this character, is because there's not just one problem with the Vegeta side of this character. The Vegeta side of this character needs, I don't want to say just a complete overhaul, but a lot of the mechanics and what he's trying to do need to be adjusted here. So I did end up giving a few changes to Goku. I don't really think this is that big of a deal, so let's just start with slot 3 here. The following effects are applicable when tagged into character Goku. The following effects occur every time this character uses a strike or blast card. So I'm having Goku heal by 3% whenever he uses a strike or blast, and then he's also applying a 10% damage received debuff to the entire enemy team as well. Again, just mainly focusing on more of an offensive side with Goku. And I don't think he needs much. I don't really think this is too much of a crazy buff here. 3% healing, that's pretty much what the tag blues do. And then, to be honest with you, I actually just took both of these effects from the tag blues, because I think it's a pretty well-rounded mechanic here. Nothing too broken. I don't really think Goku needs much, but it would be nice if he's able to heal up. You know, Vegeta takes a lot of damage. You swap back into Goku, you start comboing, and then all of a sudden you're healing back up to, you know, a decent amount of HP remaining here. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Vegeta side, and this is where I don't want to say I went overboard with this, but I did end up giving some extremely powerful effects to Vegeta. Applies the following effects to self every time when hit with an enemy's arts attack while this character's in the battlefield. So if you guys notice how I did this, the sort of dichotomy of the slot 3 buff, Goku is doing stuff whenever he uses cards, and then Vegeta is doing stuff whenever he's getting hit by cards, which is how they designed the character. That's why I wanted to leverage that. So whenever Vegeta takes an enemy's arts card, he's going to heal by 3%. That is the exact same mechanic that like Recoome and Goldo have. We see this on the green Super Saiyan Gohan from the Cell Saga. We see this on Zenkai Blue Bulma. Now, she only gets 1% HP, but this is going to be a super powerful tool to allow Vegeta to be able to withstand these onslaughts from the opponent. Then I gave him reduces enemy ki by 15, activates 5 times. This is very similar to, you know, Blue Namek Goku's ability, very similar to Red Pan's ability. It's actually the exact same thing as Red Pan's ability. It's going to activate 5 times, and then he's going to have the ability to restore his switch gauge by 20%, activates once. And then when you go back out of Vegeta, and when you go back into, I should actually probably adjust the wording here. Activation count resets when character switches or tag switches. Should be either or. So if you switch out of the battlefield after eating a hit, and then you switch back into the battlefield and Vegeta is still there, he'll be able to regain the effects that these have and reset the counts. And then the same thing happens if you tag switch into Goku and then back into Vegeta. And so the main reason why I felt like this is going to be, you know, why this is going to help Vegeta achieve his goal is because this allows him, number one, to actually survive, and number two, it allows you to get back over to the Goku side faster, right? I basically just took this mechanic from the tag Gohan and Krillin character that came out with LF Namek Goku recently. I think this would be an exceptionally powerful tool, right? To allow Vegeta just to come in, eat like 3 hits, and then, you know, end the combo by reducing their ki. You switch back over to Goku, and you're good to go. You're building up your unique edge at the same time. So that's really the goal here. And I think these mechanics right here would allow the character to achieve their goal a lot more easily than they currently are able to do. Okay, and then the last thing I added here at the bottom, they're going to get 30% to damage inflicted by the Transcendent Kamehameha per defeated battle member. The reason why I added this is to give their AoE standby mechanic, their preparation mode mechanic, give it a comeback feel to it. There have been a lot of times where I've gotten, you know, the Transcendent Kamehameha with this character, and, you know, it takes a lot of investment with this unit to get to the Transcendent Kamehameha phase. And, you know, it's exciting. You get to see the animation. You know, the entire enemy team is sort of piled up together and they get just blasted by this Kamehameha. And a lot of times it feels like it doesn't do nearly as much damage as it should. One of the main reasons behind this is because they actually don't have this do supreme damage. For whatever reason, the Gamma Core Breaker does supreme damage. I believe this just does massive damage. So I think in order to get this on the same level as the Gamma Core Breaker, we should give it some sort of conditional damage buff. And I think having it scale off of defeated battle members is appropriate for the character. Because it already does some really good AoE damage, even if you don't have defeated battle members. So I didn't really feel like, you know, having it just, you know, getting buffed up over time, maybe that would be a way to do it. But I think this is fine, having it scale just per defeated battle member here. So that's going to be my concept for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta equipment. Let's go down to Piccolo and we'll start taking a look at what I did for him. All right, so Piccolo, again, slots 1 and 2 are not really too atypical for just a normal LF unique equipment, platinum equipment. We have inflicted damage by 25. I wanted to give him a little bit more damage than Goku and Vegeta just because this is not a character that you're really terrified of in terms of damage. Now, to be fair, it's not really his role, and I'll go more into detail about that when we get to slot 3, but 25% damage, we have 35% to base strike attack and blast attack. Slot 2, I gave him 15% HP and then 35% to defenses, so we have sort of like an offensive slot in 1. And then slot 2 is more of a defensive slot. Now for slot 3, so what things about this character should we be looking at? And here is where I'm going to bring in our good friend LF Merge Zamasu. So LF Merge Zamasu got his unique equipment. This was actually the last unique equipment that we received for quite a long time. Until we got Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist Goku's unique equipment, it was a good 10 plus months in between unique equipments. And then the last one we got prior to that big, sort of break that they took from making them was the Merge Zamasu, LF Red Merge Zamasu unique equipment. The reason why that equipment fell flat was because it didn't complement what the character did well. They, I guess, experimented with it and they tried to sort of fill in the gaps of the character, and they ended up making it more of a defensive equipment than an offensive equipment, which is certainly not in line with what the identity of Merge Zamasu was as a character. Merge Zamasu was like this super glass cannon character. He did tons of damage. He had death buffs, so you didn't even want him to survive the entire time a lot of times. And they ended up giving him like a bunch of healing on it. Like, it was weird. I don't really understand why they did the way they did. But what ended up happening was, because they didn't augment the sort of soul of the character with the equipment, it just fell flat and it didn't really end up helping him at all. And so when it comes to designing these unique equipments, I think keeping in mind what the character already is good at and then building on those attributes is how you should be designing these unique equipments. So what does Orange Piccolo do well, and then what does Orange Piccolo not do so well? So Orange Piccolo is a very utility-based character. And what I mean by that is he is very good at disrupting. He's a character that provides a team heal. He provides support to the team. He debuffs the opponent, and he has a revival. So there's a lot of intangible things that he does very, very well. Things that he might not do so well: he's not that good at damage, doesn't do a lot of damage, and he doesn't do a terrific job at defending, right? A lot of his defense, quote unquote defense, just comes from his ability to disrupt the opponent's combos, not just his bulk. So with that in mind, what I really wanted to focus on with this unique equipment is, let's focus on buffing up and improving his disrupt, his intangible stuff, his utility, right? So let's take a look here at what I decided to go with. So the following effects occur when entering the battlefield. So this is going to apply to the pre-transform version as well as the post-transform version. He's going to now destroy a card, and he's going to reduce enemy ki by 20. This is not something that's like super broken, but it is a very powerful mechanic in combination with his already strong disrupt. So Orange Piccolo, as you guys know, already reduces enemy card draw speed by 2 levels when he changes cover, which of course is not the same as entering the battlefield, but they're going to compound on top of each other. One other thing I was thinking about potentially adding to this was locking the opponent in for 2 counts when changing cover, but I'm just so anti-lock mechanic that I didn't want to give him that, but I think this is definitely enough augmentation for his disrupt to allow him to be even more effective as sort of like this filler character on your team as a revival unit. Okay, so then we get to the next part, which is applies the following effects to self after transforming. Draws a special arts card next. So this is something that I noticed with this character. I want to say even just like upon first usage, like literally the first match I ever used this character in, I immediately thought to myself, damn, I wish he drew a green card upon transforming. And the reason why that's so powerful on this character is because this Piccolo has the same sort of field presence as a character like Yellow Jiren, or even a character like Ultra Janemba, honestly. This orange Piccolo in mid-range, and I've mentioned this and talked about this at length before, orange Piccolo in mid-range here, you know, can counter blasts with his strike card. Orange Piccolo can counter strikes with his green card. Orange Piccolo can counter tackles with his green card. The only thing Orange Piccolo really can't counter from mid-range is like a beam-based blue card or something like that, right? But I mean, then you just dodge, right? I mean, he can't, if you have a fast enough reaction speed to be able to react to whatever the opponent does and you have a green card in your hand, you essentially can control the field with him nonstop. And so I think him force drawing a green card upon revival is a very powerful mechanic that I hope they definitely put on him. And then the last thing here, I wanted to address the unique gauge. I've seen a lot of people wanting the unique gauge to activate multiple times. I think that's definitely an option that's possible. For me, I would rather they just improve the effectiveness of the unique gauge. So right now, the unique gauge reduces enemies' ki by 50. So I just added an extra 50 ki reduction onto this. So basically, he's going to reduce enemy ki by 100. He already destroys the entire enemy hand as well when this activates. He also destroys a Dragon Ball when this activates. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm also going to be adding -2 card draw speed, but it's going to be -2 card draw speed to the entire enemy team. So they're going to have all their ki reduced, they're going to have their Dragon Ball destroyed, they're going to have their hand destroyed, and they're going to have no card draw speed for 5 counts. So they're going to be completely and utterly exposed when they proc the unique gauge. And then on top of that, Orange Piccolo gets 15 counts of cover null, or not cover null, of type neutrality, and it's both ways, it's offense and defense. When his unique gauge is activated, I wanted to just extend the unique gauge effect of him getting type neutrality to having an infinite amount of defensive type neutrality. There are a lot of purple characters that exist right now, and considering the history of this game with how often they bring out new purple characters and with how obsessed they are with purple characters, I just want to not have this character get utterly decimated by future purple characters that are inevitably going to release and be broken. So I'd rather him just have permanent type neutrality against, you know, defensively against these purple units. Offensively, he'll still, of course, maintain the 15 counts of type neutrality, but I think, you know, having him just gain the permanent defensive type neutrality is fine here. So that's really all I would want to do for this character. I would say that out of the 2 units here, in terms of who's getting the bigger buff, the way that I design these equipments, I would say that for sure the Goku and Vegeta are getting a bigger buff, but I think they just need it more, right? Goku and Vegeta are more of a traditional fighter, where they're trying to be the ones help carry the fight, whereas Piccolo is more of a supporting character. He's more of a role-playing character in your team. He's more trying to, you know, increase the effectiveness of your other characters. He's there to provide a safety net to your team in case the enemy rising rushes, so you can leverage his revival. He's trying to provide healing. He's trying to provide support to your team. He's debuffing the enemies. He's lowering their arts power. He's lowering their card draw speed. He has a coverage. Like, there's a lot of things going on with Piccolo to where I don't think it was completely necessary to just also, on top of that, make him like a super powerful offensive or defensive unit. So those are going to be my concepts here for the unique equipment. We will see tomorrow what they actually end up going with. I guess we should just go back to the screen and pull this up here one more time. But let me know below what you guys think of these concepts, as well as what you think about the fact that we are getting 2 unique equipments for LF units, as well as a ZENKAI for LF full power Jiren. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.